since it takes a minute for that to hook in. But good morning. Welcome to Saturday's Early Morning Intuitive Guidance. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, here with some words of wisdom to start your day off well. And there we go. I was going to say Instagram is apparently sleeping today. So, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Saturday. Happy Memorial Day weekend. I hope you have some time. Good morning. Howdy, howdy. I hope you have some time to rest and to play, because play is our word for the day. And yeah, it looks a little gloomy and overcast. I think I have a movie in my future today. Look, that doesn't look like it's going to be all that pleasant outside. So anywho, welcome. Let us begin with some tapping, because I feel like I could use some centering and grounding. So plant your feet firmly on the floor and let's do a little tapping and some breathing. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Let your shoulders drop. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Oh, a nurse honor guard service. Well, blessings to whomever passed, and that is cool. That is just cool that you guys do that. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Wiggle a little bit. Listen to the popcorn in your neck. Well, today there's not too much there, but it makes my earrings jump, and that's kind of fun. We're working on play today. We are working on play today. So my goal for all of us is, by the end of the day, we will have at least giggled once and laughed once, because there are two different things, in my opinion. Let's see what we can do for this. The card for today is just awesome. And yeah, so Nature Portals deck, inspiration through the peace and beauty of nature. Inspiration. Who needs some inspiration today? Good morning, Beth. Glad you are here. Welcome. Got to spend time with my granddaughter yesterday. She was a hoot as usual. And we took our inaugural stroller ride and made some significant laps around, met a dog. Yeah, got to do all kinds of things. And I asked my daughter to set up the stroller in the first place, because not only do you have to uncollapse the stroller, but then you have to fit the car seat into the stroller. They're so tricky now, you know. And I figured lifting her in the car seat was not going to be a great thing. So I just had my daughter plop the car seat in the stroller case and then put the kid in it when it was time. So then all I was lifting was 10 pounds. So actually, back doesn't feel terrible today. Got some not pleasant news in terms of what's going on. So you have little holes along your spine where the nerves come through, and those are getting filled with arthritis. Good morning, Tina. Glad you are here. Welcome. Hello, Nancy. Welcome, welcome. We had a couple people who wrote yesterday that they forgot it was Friday and that I'd be on early, so they missed it live. But no worries, it's always posted. And yes, sometimes I'm concerned I'm going to miss Friday, because keeping track is sometimes difficult. So anyway, I told my friend Sue I allowed myself my 2-minute white hot pity party about this lower back situation, and now I'm getting on with it. I ain't got time for this crap. So and trust me, the irony is not lost on me that the person who always wants information gets her My Chart message after 5 o'clock on a Friday on a holiday weekend. So there's no way I'm getting any information from them till at least Tuesday. Whatever. Okay, universe, I get it. Let it go. It is what it is. So instead, what we're going to do today, my friends, my family, my practical rebels, we're going to play. We are going to play. So there he or she sits in the water, putching away, having a good time. Now, there's one word in this description that I'm going to take umbrage with, and then we'll mess around with it. We'll see what y'all think, okay? So, nice deep breath in. Let go. Make time to play. Play is purposeless activity for fun and pleasure. It seems like it should be easy to play, ha 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 ha. But it may be hard for you to give yourself permission to just laugh and have fun. Nature is the perfect playground with infinite possibilities for creativity and amusement. You want amusement? Watch the critters. They are very amusing. Go outside and let your imagination lead you to do whatever makes you happy. If you need help in figuring out how to spontaneously play, invite a child to join you in a natural setting and follow his or her lead. So I have lots of things to say about this, but the quote is by Leo Buscaglia. I still get wildly enthusiastic about little things. I play with leaves, I skip down the street and run against the wind. I always loved his energy because I thought he was just such a free spirit and he had such a good sense of humor. Like when he would tell stories about his father at the dinner table wanting them all to say something they had learned that day. And he often would go to the encyclopedia and pick something out. The population of Nepal. And his dad would go, huh. But my favorite Leo Buscaglia story is he had a group of students over to his house and they were outside playing in the leaves and having a blast. It was autumn and it started to rain. So they took armloads and basket loads and cart loads of leaves into his living room. Good morning, Maureen. Glad you're here. Hello, Barb. Yes, my chart is a blessing and a curse. And for a lot of people, they can't even use it. My dad, forget it. He'd never know anything. So, anyway, took all the leaves into the house, into the living room, and played with the leaves in the living room. I'm not sure how the other people who lived in his house felt about that, but hopefully he cleaned up his own mess. So, yeah, I just always thought he was quite the free spirit. So, if you've not read any of his stuff, he's deceased now, but Leo Buscaglia, Buscaglia. Nice Italian name, right? So check him out. Check him out. It's some good, heartening, uplifting stuff. So let's go back to the beginning, shall we? And I'm gonna pick at one word here. Play is purposeless activity for fun or pleasure. Sometimes I think it has a purpose. This little kid punching in the water might be piling rocks on top of each other. There's a purpose there in his or her mind, right? I remember my son when he would play. He was very methodical about his play. How he ended up being an artist who gets his hands dirty because he was a kid who never liked getting his hands dirty. So, but yes, when all the other kids are wiping along the tray on their high chair, throwing cereal everywhere, he was boop, boop, dropping it for the dog. Boop, 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 boop. Very methodical kid. Very methodical kid. So I'm not sure I buy the word purposeless here, but it is activity for fun or pleasure, something you can lose yourself in, something you can lose track of time in. When you're at play, sometimes you look up and it's like hours have passed, right? I used to get that way with scrapbooking. Oh my God, it'd be hours later. How did it get to be 6 at night? Yeah. I like this advice of go outside and let your imagination lead you to do whatever makes you happy. Now, I took a writing class way back when. Where was that? Denver? I don't even remember. But one of the women I met in that writing class was someone whose husband had died, and she had pretty much followed his lead throughout their marriage. Well, there was no more leader. So she needed to be responsible for what am I doing today? So she got in the practice and she ended up writing a book about it. I can't remember the title, but I loved the book. It was one of those books that felt so good. I hope it got published. Where she'd put on her sneakers, she called them sneakers, and go out and stand on the curb and wait for her feet to tell her which direction to walk that day. How cool is that? How cool is that? And most of us are highly uncomfortable with allowing that kind of flow. We want to have a plan. We want to have something to do. And I remember going on vacation at one point, and usually when we'd go on vacation, we'd rent an old farmhouse on Kelly Lake in Wisconsin. If you've never been to Kelly Lake, go to Kelly Lake. It's a beautiful lake. I love walking all the way around it. It's about a 5-mile walk and just a beautiful lake. And at the end of the walk, there's an ice cream place, if it's still there. I haven't been there in years. But I usually would take a stack of books and I would hang out on the beach. The kids would play in the water. I'd read books. It was fabulous. One year I got this advice: don't take any books. Don't take any books? What the hell am I going to do? So I didn't take any books. And it was relatively uncomfortable to begin with. But then I began to pay attention to much more. There was a very high pine tree right at the edge of the property and then heading down to the water. I noticed that there was an eagle nest up there. And then I noticed that there was an eagle up there. And it was like, wow, this is awesome. Sometimes I'd take the kids out in the canoe. We'd just go paddle around before, I think it was 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, then the speedboats could be out. But before that, it was the loons and us. It was fabulous. So allowing for empty space, allowing for the initial discomfort of, I don't know what the hell to do with myself. We're so used to being regimented. We're so used to having routines. We're so used to outside forces dictating what we do in a particular day that when it's time to play, we're kind of like, how do I do this? Then it says, if you need help in figuring out how to spontaneously play, invite a child to join you in a natural setting and follow his or her lead. I will tell you, people, we suck at that. And how do I know that? Because when I was in graduate school, one of my research things was working with parents and kids on improving their relationship. And so I would be behind a one-way mirror, and the parent would be out on the floor with the kid. And most of these kids were toddlers. Playing, right? And the parent would have a bug in the ear, and I would give them words to say and adjust things. The amount of questions parents ask their kids is phenomenal and disappointing. What we were teaching them how to do instead was description. Describe what your child is doing. Don't lead. Describe what your child is doing. Oh, you picked up the yellow block, and now you're looking at it. And now you put it on the red block. You're just describing. That's it. Okay. And for many people, it was easy enough. It wasn't easy. It was simple enough to adjust what they were saying. Oh, now are you going to pick up the blue block? Leading instead of following. So oftentimes, if you get rid of the question and you just describe, it changes the whole relationship with the kid. Can you follow your child's lead? For many of us, can we follow our grandchild's lead? Can we follow the dog's lead? Can we let someone else lead? My ex-husband used to always accuse me when we were dancing that I was leading. I probably was. So practice play. Sit for a moment, allow some boredom. I really want you to pursue boredom this weekend. Please, just little pockets of boredom here and there. Why? Because I think the most creative ideas come out of boredom. I remember my sisters and I deciding we were going to make a rocket ship out of tricycles and dandelions because we were bored. We had an afternoon of just phenomenal play, like thinking, how are we going to get it lifted off? Well, like the dandelions, if we blew the dandelions and all the fuzz flew off, would the tricycles rise in the air? Blah, 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 blah. It was fun. It was very fun. And it kept us busy and out of mom's hair for a while. So make time to play. Make time to play. And because it's a holiday weekend, I don't want to hear from any of you that, oh my God, we're going camping and I have to pack all the stuff and I have to unpack all the stuff and I have to cook all the meals and I have to. That is not a vacation, people. That is not a vacation. So what will you do to free yourself up? Will you hand a particular meal over to someone else to make? Will you tell everybody you're off duty for a chunk of time? Will you slip away for a walk by yourself through nature? What will you do for you today and this weekend? What will you do for you today and this weekend? So I'm definitely going to be making more room for play in my life because if this back thing is going to continue and if it's going to be not overly manageable, we'll see what happens, but I want to have some fun while I can. Forget all this work. Forget it, forget it. So, I would also like in the interest of setting a stage for this, let's do our 21 days of invoking divine right timing and divine right order. Everything occurs in divine right timing and divine right order. This back thing is divine right timing and divine right order. Ooh, beautiful. Enjoy the Tetons. That'll be awesome. Wonderful, wonderful. Some of the stuff out there is just so majestic. I loved living in Montana. I loved it. Everywhere you turned, there was something amazing. Elk, moose, the smell of trees budding, the amazing things human did. Like there was this fabulous um, Victorian restaurant. It was a 3-story Victorian house, an old white clapboard house, but it was massive and ornate. And at one point, they moved it from Missoula in the city across the river and up the mountainside and then built a golf course around it. They had great food. They had great food. But I liked thinking about the ingenuity of the people who engineered that little marvel. Thought that was great. So, repeat after me, if you would please, out loud. Today, the divine will show me the way. I am open to all signs and messages. The perfect steps are already picked, and I am guided to them. Moving through the world, open to constant help, gets easier and easier with practice. And there you have it for today. Enjoy your Saturday. To heck with the work. Let's have some fun. We'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you're capable of far more than you think you are. Bye bye.